All right, I'm afraid we have to start having this conversation. She's one of our best actresses, and she also needs to fire her agent. Emily Blunt, in the past few years, despite some success with Quiet Place and its sequel, Oppenheimer, which are films that I think she's quite good in, she's just picking a lot of bad projects. So today we're talking about Pain Hustlers, which is this movie directed by David Yates. David Yates is the director who did the last few installments of the Harry Potter films. I think he started from 5 and then went through the rest of that series. And then he's been doing the Fantastic Beast movies. This is his first, I think, movie since probably like 2007, I want to guess, because I think he's only done Harry Potter movies since 2007. So this is his first movie outside of the Wizarding World since 2007. David Yates is a director I'm not a fan of, which I should just kind of lay out on the table right now before we even really get into this conversation. I just don't think he's a particularly interesting director. I think he's a completely competent director. I don't see much more out of him. And Pain Hustlers does this incredibly trying task of a director, which is to tell the story of the opioid crisis. We have Emily Blunt, we have Chris Evans, and we have Andy Garcia playing main roles of these characters. This film follows Emily Blunt's character, who is this mother down on her luck. She's working as a stripper. She's not making ends meet. She has to support her daughter. She meets this kind of scummy businessman in Chris Evans' character who works as a pharmaceutical company. She teams up with him. They start selling opioids to the public. They start selling it to the pharmacists and doctors first, to then give it to their patients. But this is basically as it is. It's a hustle. It's them selling this product that they don't know all the details on. It says that it is used to basically relieve pain from cancer survivors. But of course, the issue with this is there is fentanyl, and fentanyl is very dangerous and it's highly addictive. I work in the county and I see fentanyl cases a lot, and they're nasty, and it's a highly addictive drug. And this film is tasked with explaining the opioid crisis. And it takes the style and editing of Wolf of Wall Street and The Big Short. David Yates is trying to be Adam McKay in directing and trying to have the thematic whereabouts and knowledge that Martin Scorsese brings to a story. The issue is he is neither of those people. His flash and direction style is just nowhere near as interesting and fast cutting as Adam McKay, and his nuance is nowhere near as complicated and well done as Martin Scorsese. Thus, we get Pain Hustlers, which is a movie that is very by the numbers. One of my biggest issues with this movie is the performances. I think of the 3 leads, only Chris Evans comes out giving a performance that I find interesting. And I don't even think Chris Evans is that great in this movie. I just like the idea that he's okay with playing this type of douchey bad guy in this movie. He is such a loser. He is such an asshole in this movie. And I think I like that Chris Evans is at least embracing more of this villain role in movies. I don't necessarily think this performance from him is all that successful, but at least it's something different from him. Andy Garcia is just something in this movie. It's a very out there wild performance from Garcia. It doesn't work for me in any way. And Emily Blunt, okay, let's just kind of have the conversation about Emily Blunt's acting style. An actress I love, someone who I think is so good in films like Sicario and is so good in other films like Edge of Tomorrow. She works so well with her face. She is such a great expressionist actor. I think of her in A Quiet Place, able to convey so much of the emotion and heart of that movie while saying nothing at all. In this movie, she is asked to play a Florida woman, and she's asked to play a little bit trashy. It kind of feels like she's this woman a little bit dimmer. And the issue is that's just not who Emily Blunt is as an actress. That's not who we know her to be. She always feels a little bit too uptight for this world. She doesn't give that Florida energy, for lack of a better word. I just think she's completely miscast in this role. I did not buy her as this American Florida woman. I did not buy her getting into it. She almost just feels too dignified to be in a role like this. And she doesn't have that, just when she's getting sucked into it, you just don't buy it. Because she always seems a little bit smarter than everyone else in the room. And in this movie, it's not supposed to be that way, especially because this movie kind of tries to imply that this character that Emily Blunt plays almost kind of just gets sucked into this world and then kind of has this crisis of faith and just everything that she's doing. And thus that's when she makes the change. And you just don't buy any of it. It just doesn't work for this film. So this film, the story is okay. It's too long at 2 hours. I think if this was an hour 40, it could have conveyed the exact same message. It has this weird subplot with Emily Blunt's character and her mom that just doesn't work. And that mom sleeping with the boss. It gets all over the place, and you're left leaving, and it has no dignified answers or questions even asking about the opioid crisis. Again, it does come to the same conclusions that all these movies come to, which is capitalism is bad and it's the root of sin in all America, and what these people did is terrible and they should all be in jail, which again, I can agree with this message, and I can also watch the film and just be like, you didn't do a great job explaining that, or even explaining just how scummy it is. This film tries to have a sense of debauchery throughout it, and it never achieves it. There's these scenes where these characters are going wild, and it's just Emily Blunt drinking a shot at a work party. That's about it. Like, that's the wildness of this film. Or maybe they're at a strip club, but you don't see anything get into wild. It's supposed to be this debauchery boys club atmosphere. And again, you just don't get it. I don't see how much different this is than other movies, or how just terrible these people are. Again, I know they're terrible, but in this context of the movie, you just don't really get it. They all kind of feel like low-life crooks who aren't really able to accomplish much until you're told that they accomplished much and they did horrible, horrible things, and that many people lost their lives because of them. I just didn't get any of that emotion or any of that in the storytelling of this movie. This movie, Pain Hustlers, is just a complete wreck. But the worst part of it is it's just so forgettable. I've already forgot it, and I watched it a few hours ago. This is a solid 1.5 out of 4 stars from me. So thank you all for watching my review of Pain Hustlers. I'll have more of these reviews coming out. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.